To say a few things about where we are at, we can see that we've made some progress. The trend is going the right way finally. I believe that we have made impaired driving a social stigma. We have increased our laws. We have increased supports for survivors. But when you have, as between distracted and impaired driving, 250 people killed on our roads since 2010, that is unacceptable. Manitobans are saying to impaired and distracted drivers, stop killing us. Stop killing our loved ones. Plan ahead when you go out. I want to address a concern that I've heard over the years. When I was Attorney General before, and now once again I hear this repeated concern that, these impaired driving laws, they keep getting tougher and tougher and tougher, and they're disproportionately unfair to rural Manitobans, because it's hard to just get a cab in and go to work if you have your license suspended, for example. And I would say in answer to that, three things. First of all, then don't drive drunk. Plan ahead. You can go out and have a good time, but figure out how you're going to get home first before you do that. Second of all, every Manitoban's life is of equal value. And rural Manitobans are just as important to save as urban Manitobans. The lives of the families in rural Manitoba are just as valuable and important and deserving of strong laws as urban Manitobans. And finally, I will say, and I've been supported by the RCMP in this observation, is that disproportionately in rural Manitoba, there's driving at higher speeds on highways where there can be a greater risk of serious injury and fatality. So today I'm very pleased to announce that the Safer Roads Act that was just passed by the legislature is in effect today. December 1 is the day that we have worked hard to ensure that we have stronger laws to push back against impaired driving. I want to thank Andrew Swan, who's here, my predecessor. He's worked hard on this file for both impaired driving and public safety generally, and this is his writing too. First, there's three pieces to the announcement today. First of all, Manitoba has just increased the the length of the driver license suspension. If you are impaired, between 0.05 and 0.08. It has for some time been a one-day suspension. It is now being tripled to 3 days. As well, and unique in Manitoba, there's no other province that has this approach, but that will be a suspension for 7 days if there was a child in the vehicle. Those children who are in the vehicle of an impaired driver are captured. They had no say in how they were being imperiled. And we've got to stand up and send a much stronger message that if you're going to drive drunk, the worst thing you can do is imperil a child in a car seat or in any seat in that vehicle. So that is a 7-day suspension, and I hope that others look at that approach that we're taking here in Manitoba. We've also, as a result of the Safer Roads Act, made sure that you can't just wait out the period for your ignition interlock. That is going to happen before you get your license back. And by the way, I see the day coming very soon when ignition interlocks are actually put in the vehicle right at the factory. I think technology is going to assist us, but that's down the road, and perhaps Manitoba can help to kick that tire. And the third, under the Safer Roads Act, police will now be required to immediately notify the Registrar of Motor Vehicles of any serious driving-related offenses. That is about a charge. In other words, not tell them about convictions, but tell them about a charge, because that sends a signal that there is a risk on the road, and MPI can bring in measures to deal with that. So those are the three main announcements here today, and I thank you all for coming.